In the restless town of Awka, where generator hums replaced silence and secrets traveled faster than Okadas, everyone knew someone, but no one really knew Obinna Eze. Obinna wasn't the kind of man you'd notice twice. Medium height, always neatly dressed, polite to a fault. He smiled often, spoke softly, and carried himself like someone raised on discipline and prayer. He worked as a freelance journalist, the type who covered community stories, weddings, small business features, the occasional political interview. People trusted him. That was his greatest weapon. But if you looked closer, really looked, you'd notice something unsettling. His stories were always too perfect, his empathy too calculated, his presence too timely. And then there were the lies. Obinna had built his life on lies, not the clumsy, obvious kind, but the quiet, layered kind that blended seamlessly with truth. My father was a professor, he once told a colleague. He never mentioned the man had died in prison. I studied in Lagos. True, but he had been expelled. I just want to tell people's stories. That one sounded honest. It wasn't. Obinna didn't tell stories. He collected them. He studied people, how they spoke, what they feared, what they hid. Every interview wasn't just work, it was reconnaissance, because Obinna had a different kind of hunger, one that had nothing to do with journalism. The first death didn't raise alarms. Mrs. Okoye, a wealthy widow known for her charity, was found lifeless in her home. The police called it a robbery gone wrong. No signs of struggle, just a quiet, eerie end. Obinna covered the story. He interviewed neighbors, wrote a touching piece about her kindness, and even attended the funeral. People praised his article. It felt like you really knew her, someone said. Obinna smiled. I try to understand people deeply, he replied. 3 months later, it happened again. This time, a young tech entrepreneur, Chinedu, found dead in his apartment. Same pattern. No forced entry, no witnesses. And once again, Obinna was there, interviewing, observing, listening. Detective Amina Bello didn't believe in coincidences. She had seen patterns where others saw accidents. And this was a pattern screaming to be heard. 2 victims, no forced entry, both recently featured in a local article. Same journalist, Obinna Eze. She pulled his records. Clean, too clean. No one is this perfect, she muttered. Amina decided to meet him. Obinna sat across from her at a quiet cafe sipping zobo like he didn't have a care in the world. You've been covering some interesting stories, Amina said. Obinna smiled. Death is part of life. People want answers. Or maybe someone is creating questions, she replied, watching him closely. For a split second, barely noticeable, his smile tightened. Then he returned. Are you suggesting something, officer? Detective, she corrected, and yes, I am. Silence stretched between them. Then Obinna leaned forward, his voice calm. You think I'm a killer? Not a question, a statement. Amina didn't respond. Obinna chuckled softly. That's a serious accusation. And yet, she said, you don't sound surprised. Another pause. Then he said something that sent a chill down her spine. People see what they want to see. Amina dug deeper. She found something. All the victims had one thing in common. They had secrets, hidden scandals, quiet sins, things they had never shared publicly. But somehow, Obinna knew. Mrs. Okoye had been embezzling charity funds. Chinedu had been running a fraudulent investment scheme. Obinna didn't just interview people. He exposed them, but not publicly, privately, and permanently. It happened on a rainy night. Amina tracked Obinna to an unfinished building on the outskirts of town. Her instincts screamed. Inside, she found him, standing over another victim, a trembling man tied to a chair. Perfect timing, Obinna said, almost casually. Step away from him, Amina shouted. Obinna sighed. You're ruining the process. What process? She demanded. Obinna turned to her, his calm demeanor cracking just enough to reveal something darker. Truth, he said. I give people what they deserve. You're killing them, Amina shouted. I'm freeing them, Obinna snapped, his voice rising for the first time. From their lies, from their masks. Amina's grip tightened on her weapon. And who made you judge? Obinna smiled again, but this time it wasn't gentle. It was terrifying. I did. The man in the chair cried out, begging for help. Amina stepped forward. It ends tonight, Obinna. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Fear? Regret? No. Recognition. He had been caught, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't have a lie ready. Obinna was arrested. The town was shaking. How could we not see it? People asked. But the truth was simple. They did see him. They just saw what he wanted them to see. Months later, Amina visited the prison. Obinna sat behind the glass, calm as ever. You know, you're not so different from me, he said. Amina frowned. Explain. You wear a badge. I wore a smile. We both hide behind something. Amina stood up. The difference is, I don't lie about who I am. She walked away. For the first time, Obinna looked uncertain. Moral of the story. The most dangerous lies are not the ones we tell others, but the ones we live. When deception becomes identity, the mask doesn't just hide the truth, it destroys it.